Welcome, everybody, to the Splunkable Data Pipe Dream Podcast, Episode 2. I'm going to be your host for this one, Hailie Shaw, your principal trainer over at Splunkable. Very excited for this podcast episode where we're going to be discussing everything related to if you're a new Splunker, where do you start? How did I learn Splunk? How did our guest, Melissa, learn Splunk? What would we do today if we had to learn it all over again? What are some good resources to leverage? And we're just going to talk about some opinions and getting started on that Splunk journey, what it was like for us. So I'm very excited to get started today. Melissa, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to everyone, if you don't mind.
Hi, Hailie. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Nixon. I am a cybersecurity professional in the incident response realm. I've been in the industry since 2021, so fairly green. I have a background in accounting and finance. I actually made the switch to the field because I took interest. I think cybersecurity is extremely important and constantly changing. So yeah, thank you. And I'll pass it back.
Thanks. Yeah, you're very, very modest in your introduction, but I appreciate it. Melissa's definitely up and coming. She's got a stacked resume here, has completed her trifecta for CompTIA and is about to start her Splunk journey. So just an excellent guest to have on the podcast for discussing that journey with everyone. So before we get into it, just a quick word from our sponsors.
Are you stuck in your current job? Are you looking for a way to learn new skills and make a career switch? With so much data to manage, it can be daunting even to know where to start. But what if we told you there's a solution that can help you make sense of it all? Introducing Splunkable, the platform that teaches you how to use Splunk. With Splunkable, you'll learn how to make the most of Splunk, the industry-leading tool for analyzing data. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced professional, Splunkable has courses to help you get started and advance your career. So why wait? Make the switch and start your journey with Splunkable today. Splunkable, empowering you to unlock your full potential.
All right, we're back. So I guess, I don't know, Melissa, we should start from the beginning. What is Splunk? So I guess I'll give my, spiel about what I think Splunk is and, kind of the buzzwords I say for what it does, even though it does so much more every year as the company continues to grow. But for me, Splunk is all about big data analytics. It's all about having that central repository for all of your logs in your environment to go to one central location for you to then query and then kind of massage your data for all those logs that are coming in all those different events into pretty visualizations for senior leadership, or build out a dashboard, or have a search run on a schedule to detect for anomalous activity if you're in the cybersecurity space. There's so many functionalities to Splunk. We probably can't cover them. We definitely can't cover them all on this episode. Anyone who uses it knows how versatile it is, how customizable it is, and how strong the community is. So to me, it's one of the leading SIEMs on the market. There's a few other competitors out there, Logarithm, IBM's QRadar, Elk Stack. They're all good SIEMs, but Splunk has just really taken over the market the past 5 or 6 years, and I don't see it slowing down. So I think big data analytics, I think central log repository, and just something that's extremely customizable and an essential tool to have in any organization. So what do you think Splunk is? Like, what's kind of your impression of it, your own definition of it?
I mean, yeah, so I won't repeat everything. You definitely did a good rundown there. So the first time I heard of Splunk, actually from your Snapchat story, I've known Hailie for quite a few years now. She was just kind of rambling on about it. I was not even in IT at that point. I was like, okay, Splunk, I have no idea what she's talking about. But now that I'm in the industry, basically, as you said, a very strong SIEM. I can't imagine a SOC without it. It really is centralized big data. I can't imagine using anything else. Of course, I'm biased as that's all I've used. I haven't used any other SIEMs, but Splunk is definitely a big name. That's one that I knew about before being in the industry. But as you said, we use it every day for threat hunting, for dashboards, for reports. and being in the incident response realm, I don't necessarily need to do searches all day, every day, but definitely checking out the dashboards and reporting, to speak with management. So again, can't imagine cybersecurity without Splunk. So
yeah, I think they're going hand in hand, and we'll get to it later, but they're definitely moving into, certification wise at least, new certifications are coming out that are definitely going into this cybersecurity realm. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are strong answers. That's what we think Splunk is. Obviously, we're extremely biased over here at Splunkable. We love the tool, we love to promote it, and we love to teach and train. And we're available to you if you'd like to discuss more about what Splunk is and our thoughts on it. Feel free to reach out to us on Slack or any of the social medias like LinkedIn or YouTube. We'd love to chat more about it with you. I guess something else we can transition into is why would someone want to learn Splunk? Do you want to go first, or you want me to ramble on, for why I would learn Splunk or advocate for somebody to learn Splunk?
Yeah, go for it. Take away, Hailie.
All right. For me, why somebody would want to learn Splunk, I don't want to say I'm betting my whole career on learning Splunk and making, the next few years of my career very Splunk heavy, but I'm betting my whole career on Splunk. I'm really, going very heavily into a job role that really only leverages Splunk architects or Splunk admins. It's a comfort level for me. It's been around for many, many years. It's a highly successful company. And until I start to see the demand go down for the job industry, for that's organizations seeking architects or admins, there's just more and more applicants and more jobs that can't be filled with those number of applicants to meet the overall job demand of the market for specifically Splunk roles. So I think it's a very safe spot to bet your career on by learning it, because the demand is there and I haven't seen the demand start deteriorating yet. It's also an extremely versatile tool. Everyone knows Splunk can ingest pretty much anything these days. It's also highly customizable. You can integrate a lot of different apps and add-ons or custom apps or any kind of data you want to bring in or command you want to build, anything you want to develop. Splunk is always growing and developing to meet the needs of the users searching it and the customers using it as well. So career growth wise, that's why I think someone should learn Splunk. It's, without said, the salary expectations that you can expect for being an architect or even being an admin. If you really master and learn Splunk, you can really leverage a higher salary. You can go to Indeed and kind of see the salary numbers that are out there. So if you're looking for the next, career pay bump or next position to be in a technical role and have that salary that comes along with that, Splunk is a really great place to start learning a tool that will be able to provide you with those opportunities. So maybe I'm biased, but like Melissa, what do you think somebody with like 4 years in the industry, let's not even say they're in cybersecurity, let's just say they're in IT, they're interested about going into learning Splunk or maybe going into the cybersecurity field. What if someone with 4 years in IT just got power user or just got their admin certification? Like what kind of number comes to mind for like a offer letter salary?
Right. Yeah. I would say at least 80 to 90K with no question. When I was still in IT, I wasn't sure which way I was going to go once I was applying to cybersecurity roles. Just based on my search, generally they were in six figures. So I think, you're not going to get anything under 80. I honestly think you can definitely get at least 90 and up. So speaking to what you had said, I think learning Splunk it's invaluable. You're going to find a position, and it's going to be a well-paid position. So I think that's definitely, Splunk is a great way to go. And just speaking on that. And, just to branch off of that, Splunk, you don't have to be the most technical person. You don't have to be looking for a role specific to Splunk, but I do think you'll come across it. It's a very well-known thing. As we've said, we reference it every day at my position. Just in conversation with other cybersecurity professionals, Splunk is very well known. I have a friend who's a coder, and she knows that her company utilizes Splunk. So, it's out there. I don't think you can go wrong with that at all. And again, if you're not in a technical role, you'll use it, you'll talk about it, and even just to run a quick search or a report or something in that matter. I think one should definitely look into Splunk, especially if you're going into a cybersecurity role.
So what you're saying is Splunk has taken over the industry, basically. Wherever you're going to go, you're going to be all right. It's a very safe tool to bet your career on, kind of the feedback that I'm hearing. And I would agree. I mean, we're doing exactly that. We believe in the tool. We believe in the company. It's a tool that we like using, that we like learning, and we've made it easy to learn it. So speaking of having it be easy to learn, and maybe we should just say like how we learned Splunk and what our journey was like getting into it. I know it can kind of be intimidating for new Splunkers out there, for, or someone in IT that hasn't really used it yet in a security sense. Maybe we should just talk about our own journey. Do you want to go first, or I can ramble on about my journey? Up to you.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So yes, I could talk about my journey getting into Splunk. I joined the Navy in 2015. And then within my first 2 years of being in a defensive cyberspace role as a cybersecurity analyst, immediately introduced into Splunk. Without going into too many operations of how the Navy works to protect that level of classified operations, definitely not saying anything that isn't already open source, but we were leveraging Splunk left and right. And at the time, it was more free and more affordable than it was. We're talking back in like 2017. You could still get a free license and do a lot of use cases that we were using in our operations to leverage Splunk as the main SIM and bring in all of our logs and start threat hunting with it. So as my career went on in the Navy, we continuously progressed and leveraged the tool more and more positions, more duty stations. It was just always there as like, hey, you should learn this tool. You should learn it. It'd be good. Whether you took that seriously or not was up to you. It wasn't until I took it seriously, because I was like, all right, I got to get out of the Navy. Like, I'm ready to transition to a civilian job, that I got another job in the civilian sector that leveraged Splunk. And that was, for me, like the moment that I realized, okay, I love this tool. I want to learn it. I want to get serious about learning it. And how did I do it? Well, at the time, I was active duty military. So Fundamentals 1 used to be free to everybody on Splunk's education portal. And Fundamentals 2 was free for veterans. And they've kind of revamped their education portal, so it's not like that anymore, but it's still great to leverage. But if I had to suggest to somebody what they would do today, since that's no longer available, I would definitely take advantage of Splunkable's Fundamentals 1 and 2 courses that are available on Udemy. Always look to us for LinkedIn or in Slack to reach out for either a coupon code or a discount code if you need it. We'd be more than happy to provide you through the courses at a discount for Fundamentals 1 and 2 to kind of have that equivalent experience that I had when I was learning Splunk. And then I pretty much got my admin as well while I was active duty, and I made it a point to transition after I was fully separated from the military to a job that leveraged Splunk as their main SIM, and my learning just progressed on from there. I had my admin at that time. I had my Splunk Enterprise Security admin certification, one of their premium apps, because it's used heavily in SOCs operations, and I was going into incident response in a SOC type role. So it blended very nicely. And my education still continues, and testing for Architect next month. Very excited to be going through that journey, and definitely leveraging the internal team available at Splunkable for all their support and knowledge that they've had really goes a long way. So still learning it today, I guess, is the answer, but that's kind of how I learned it. That was my progression, and the learning probably never stops, but at least you can get to a point where you're pretty comfortable in your skill set for Splunk based on where you want to go for your career. So that's kind of my background. Melissa, I don't know if you want to share your background for how you learned Splunk?
Sure, yeah. And, once again, it sounds like Splunk is taking over.
For sure.
Just knowing being used in the Navy, and then you realize how many companies really do utilize the tool. But yeah, so basically, I also used Fundamentals 1. It was free on Splunk's portal, which again, maybe it's not anymore as they revamped it, but I did use that. And then again, I also leveraged Splunk's Fundamentals 1 and 2 on Udemy. So really nice, very accessible. And then just something extra. I don't know if people know what Rangeforce is, but that's an online training platform. They do have a few good modules on Splunk. I believe the full edition is a little bit pricey, so I don't know if everyone would go that route. But if you're in IT or something right now and your company does offer Rangeforce, that was a good extra few modules too that I used. But definitely Splunk's Fundamentals 1 and 2 on Udemy. That was extremely helpful for me. And then just hands-on training.
Home lab, learning it, free 60-day trial, going from there. Hands-on experience is always a great route. And you mentioned Splunk's education portal. They have revamped it, like Funds One. They have a lot of free courses on there now, but it's kind of equivalent to what Fundamentals 1 used to be. It's just kind of individual classes now. I still think, it's worth the investment to do Splunkable's Fundamentals 1 and 2 courses because it's more comprehensive and it's more like learn it in this order that we've outlined for you. Mm-hmm. Instead of like Splunk Education's portal, it's kind of pick and choose your own adventure and hopefully you learn it in the right order. We make it very easy and concise to learn the topics that you need to and set you up very nicely for your core certified user or power user certification. So affordability, it's there to learn it for new people. I would definitely take advantage of Splunk's pledge to educate people, whether they're students or active military. You can kind of get additional courses for free as well. And then the super affordability that is Udemy and Splunkable's resources, well worth the investment for the knowledge that you'll get in return. So yeah, absolutely. Great. Hands-on experience, always good as well.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of, Splunk and certifications you had mentioned. So my goal, I was looking to, get my power user and admin this year. Can you
Very nice.
A little bit more on your progression for your certifications? And is there anything you would recommend to someone who is either a little bit new to Splunk in general or any tools that they can leverage to get these certifications, or what order would you get them in, et cetera?
Yeah, my timeline is definitely nothing to be, super boastful about. Like, it is what it is. I learned it, how long it took me to learn. I'm a slow learner, but once I learn something, I learn it very thoroughly. Mm-hmm. So I was introduced to Splunk back in 2016. I didn't test for power user until like 2020, 2021, when I was like, all right, I'm serious. I'm going to get out of the Navy. I want to make sure my future employer knows that I have the technical chops through proving that through a certification. Let me get my power user. So 4 years to get power user. That's not great, but that's what it was. And then after that, it was very quick turnaround to admin. I would say 3 months is pretty good to get admin. If you leverage the Spunkable's Udemy courses for data admin and system administration available, probably take you 3 months to digest the material and really get a strong grasp on it before you're ready to test, which is similar to my path that I had, depending on, of course, your job experience level and overall experience with command line interface and, overall management deployment of tools, etc. And then for enterprise security, that was just learning a premium app. So that only took me a month to really go through the education and learn the premium app and test for their admin certification. Always great to learn a premium app. And Architect has definitely taken me a bit longer. So all of that was back in 2021. Now we're in 2023, going through Architect. Architect really has taken me 8 months to a year. There's a lot of additional information on there from what comes on top of admin. And there's no reason at all that your timeline needs to be as long as mine. This was just my own personal experience. And it would definitely be sped up if you took advantage of reaching out to people who are already experts in Splunk, like people at Splunkable are. So take advantage of where we are on our social medias. or our Slack channel. That's a direct line to us to ask any questions you have regards to certifications or how to do X, Y, and Z, no matter what certification you're pursuing. So I'm testing next month for the architect certification, and I will have wrapped that up. So after that, I'll probably go on to Splunk's certified consultant. Take me a couple of months to wrap that up, and then maybe I'll go a developer route, or I'll go the ITSI, another premium app, leverage that. But I'm going to definitely take a break probably after Splunk certified consultant. So it's 2023, 2016, 7 years. Right. 7 years to architect. Definitely doesn't need to be that long. That's kind of just been my path.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, it definitely sounds like there's plenty more certifications out there as well. Always learning.
Yep, for sure.
But for someone new, you would advise to start with the power user is kind of what I'm hearing then, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, I would definitely, if you're interested in the tool and you don't want to be overwhelmed by it, just go through Splunkable's Fundamentals 1 and Fundamentals 2, get your feet wet, and if you like it and you like the tool, then definitely continue on to our admin certification. But I would start at power user. Core certified user is basically just an understanding of Fundamentals 1. You should go through Funds 1 and 2 and get your power user. That holds a little bit more weight for an employer. And it's not like the bottom certification that you can get with Splunk. It's a little bit of a step up.
Right. Okay. That was one of my questions. Kind of skipped over the core user. So thanks for explaining that.
Yep.
Here it is. That'll be my journey. So we'll see how 2023 treats me.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna do great. I'm gonna get architect. You'll have your admin, no doubt.
Yeah, it's gonna be
so. Speaking of the training, maybe we should talk about some of like the struggles that we've had, for any challenges we've had to overcome, or if like Splunk was like really intimidating to you to learn starting out. Did you have any of those experiences, or what's been your take on it since, or what would you offer potentially new people that are interested in learning it? Any kind of feedback for them or food for thought?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes. So as I've mentioned before, I'm not a super technical person just in general. So I definitely found it a bit overwhelming. I definitely advise you to just be patient with yourself. It is frustrating. It really is a language. So I think you really do need to kind of take a step back. You will build a search, and even people who are more Splunk gurus, more advanced, this happens to them as well, because in a language, you could have one pipe off or one quote off and your search won't work. And you're looking at your search and you're like, what is going on? Like this should be working. So it was definitely a bit frustrating. And now I kind of just accept that there's going to be an issue somewhere down the line. You just kind of get over it. And then just another word of advice is just save your searches. A lot of the time I have saved searches that you kind of paste in and you just kind of edit that off. So, that's definitely another word of advice. Yeah, so I think it's a bit overwhelming, but you just kind of have to go through it, make sure you study, and definitely practice for sure. That would be my advice for learning it. But it was overwhelming, but it's, now that I know it, use it every day. Definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think if someone is being overwhelmed on it, to tell you the truth, unless I'm building something that's truly complex, like passing tokens and variables through dashboards, or building out a complex query to leverage a data model search to have a detection fire off, unless I'm doing something that requires a heavier understanding of SPL, most of the time I use the same 5 commands: a stats, a table, an eval, and that gets me through most of what I need to get my answer. If I'm threat hunting through firewall logs, I'm pretty much putting in string values. I'm sorting things based on countries or remote IP addresses that I'm seeing, bytes of data in and out, string values for protocols like FTP, or tools that they're using for FileZilla, or visiting remote file upload sites, or just anything going exfil out. It's all a bunch of string values for like, I'm looking for this, don't see it. And then I have a basic table command underneath, and I just need to kind of see the data. If I get a hit, then I'm like, all right, let me play with this. Maybe I put a stats command in there, but I really can get by with 90% of what I'm trying to do when I threat hunt, with just really basic understanding of 5 core commands, and then understanding how to use strings efficiently in Splunk, and I get my answer. So you don't have to be a super strong person who builds SPL. I don't know if that experience has been the same for you, but I still get my answers. I get by.
That's a very good point. Yes. Like I said, I have my searches and you kind of just copy paste and edit them around. And I get what I need. I think that's a very good point too, to someone learning Splunk. It is, you're getting overwhelmed. You're like, what is this? But you really don't need to be a Splunk guru. You don't have to know all these crazy long searches. And if you do need help with a search, I'm sure you'll have someone on your team or something, or reach out to Splunkable to be able to figure out what you need. There will be someone there that can help you if you do need, a more complex search. But yeah, as you said, my searches are definitely more on the simple side, but you can at least see at a higher level as well, like, oh, something's fishy there, so you can get what you need on a few searches for sure.
Yeah. And any good, analyst, I think, builds that one really complex search and then they save it off. And then whatever variable was in there to search for that at the time, the next time that comes up for that use case, copy pasta, put it in. You don't ever have to build that complex search again. That's maybe like 6 or 7 lines long. You did it once. You took the half hour it took you to perfect that search, and then you don't have to do it again. Plus, you learned how to leverage all those commands in there. And now you have a repeatable process. So kind of the intimidation factor of learning Splunk just goes down the more that you use it, right? I mean,
yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I was first starting, I was definitely, what is going on here? But as time goes on, you can figure it out. It's not how it looks initially.
Yep, absolutely. I think, how long does it take someone to be comfortable with using it? Obviously, it depends how many hours a day you're using it and how much you're dedicating to learning it. Definitely 2 or 3 months. I mean, fundamentals 1 and 2, if you go through that, you can easily complete those 1 month each. And then if you're in a position where your organization already has Splunk and it's available to you to start tinkering with and learning how it works, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, a few months. Absolutely. Yeah. I would say generally around like 3 months, you should definitely feel pretty comfortable. And again, you might not feel like you know everything, but you really don't need to. So
yeah, exactly.
Worthwhile for sure to know the tool. So touching on certifications that we were talking about, I know conferences are coming up. Are you going to the 2023 conference and offer testing and certifications there? I haven't been, so what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. We love Splunk Conf. It's always in July. It's, with COVID and everything, it's kind of had to be remote. Last year, they were in person for Conf 22. This year, Conf 23. I am going in person. I hope to see everyone there. Please reach out to us or, come up to any member of the Splunkable team. We'd love to hand out some swag for you and just get to know our students better. And that's one great thing about the community. Everyone who is learning Splunk, they have such a strong support community and everyone's supportive. And it really comes through at Conf when you start to meet people in person. This may be the first time you meet the Splunkable team and interact with us. Come say hello. We'd love to see how you're doing. Let us know where you're at on your Splunk journey, what courses you've completed with us, or any way we can be of help to you on your Splunk journey. The certifications, yes, Conf does do in-person testing. So if you go physically in person to Vegas, you can sign up for any of the exams that they're currently offering, which are all of the major ones: Core, Certified User, Power User, Admin, their premium apps. Those are all available to test, and they're at a significantly reduced price. So just $25 instead of the standard $130 to test if you're at person in Conf. So there's also Splunk University you can attend if it's your first time going to Conf and you want to knock out a quick 1 to 3 day training session to get a certification and test at the end of that 3rd day or day 2. There's different lengths of university you can go to. That's a great resource to leverage as well. And one last thing that I would like to touch on is Splunk is definitely getting into the cybersecurity space. I'm definitely excited to see it. They have a new certification that's in beta mode right now. It's their Certified Cybersecurity Defense Analyst. And since it's in beta, if you're going in person to Conf, it is $0 to go test. And shoot your shot at passing. It's a free, you don't even have to pay the $25. Free attempt to get a new Splunk certification that's hot off the press from them. I'm going to be testing myself. Other members of the Splunkable team are testing as well. And I would definitely take advantage of it if you're going to comp, whether you want to do the new cybersecurity defense analyst certification for free, or Splunk University, or test for any of the courses that they have there for a reduced price of $25. Just keep in mind, some things like Splunk University and this new certification can be first come, first serve. So don't wait. I would go register today. If you're not sure how to do any of that, I would definitely reach out to Splunkable. We'd be more than happy to assist you with registration. Just give us a ping on Slack.
Perfect. Love that. Well, best of luck to you.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess, go ahead.
Yeah. So for the conference, do you advise, if someone was, fresh off the boat, has no idea what Splunk really is, do you advise that they go, or do you think it needs to be someone who's, already dipped their toes in, someone who's more advanced, or can anyone kind of go to this and,
Yeah, I think anybody can go to it, but I think I would wait. I would attend it virtually. It's a reduced price and you still get all the same functionality and features, mostly that you would if you went in person. I would just say attend virtually because save on cost and then see if you like what comp has to offer. And the great thing about Splunk as well is they have all archives of past year's conferences. So you can go on Splunk's website and watch breakout sessions that they had from like Conf 20, Conf 21. All of those have been recorded and they're archived on the website. So it's available to you. And I think if you go without even knowing, if you don't know you're a power user yet, or if you haven't been using Splunk for like 2 or 3 months and then you go to Conf, you might be overwhelmed and you won't be really able to be in a good position to take advantage of all of the breakout sessions that you want to attend without having at least, a couple months, a strong understanding, a fundamentals understanding, at least before you go. But if you're just going to dedicate all your time and roll out and knock out Funds 1 and Funds 2 and get your power user and just go all in on Splunk in 2 months, then sure, go to Conf. I'm definitely not saying don't go to Conf. I'm just trying to give my honest opinion of like how much benefit I think someone brand new would get out of it, as opposed to someone who has 3 or 4 months experience, maybe their admin or their power user certification. So check out the prices, see if it's worth it to you, and then make your decision. And if you really are on the fence, just reach out to us.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Melissa, it's really been my pleasure to have you on the Data Pipe Dream podcast. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to close it out here unless you have any closing thoughts you want to share.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you. So everyone, thank you so much for attending the Data Pipe Dream podcast. Be sure to check out Splunkable on our Slack channel, our LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube channel. And if you need more information, we're only one message away. Be sure to check out our Fundamentals 1 and 2 courses if you're interested in learning Splunk, available right now on Udemy. Also, if you're confused as to where to start, we also have our training roadmap that takes someone from beginner all the way into architect to give you the resources you need to succeed in starting your Splunk journey today. We hope to see you all on Slack. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Hailie and Melissa, signing off.